G'day folks, this is Raymond Foster. Hope you're doing great. What is the anti-white narrative? What are MPs? What are MCs that cure MPs? To make this more simple for yourself, hold this concept in your mind as we go over this next little example. 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, so just hold those three things in your mind. 1 + 1 = 2. Sound, validity of logic, premises leading to a conclusion. But you just need to understand, just hold in your mind, 1 + 1 = 2. We're raised from birth with this perception of reality, this understanding, which is that white people are inherently racist. There's something wrong with you if you're born white. You're a monster, you're a devil, you're evil, you're less than human because you're white, and you're inherently racist, and you have to apologize to non-white people, etc., etc. Within this premise, within this meme pathogen, is the general meme pathogen or concept which is embedded within it, so it's a more fundamental, you could say, it's a more foundational meme pathogen inside this meme pathogen, which is just that all white people are racist. Okay? If you break it down to its bare bones, that's the fundamental foundational meme pathogen within this idea. It's, again, all white people are racist. Now, another common meme pathogen that we've all heard our entire lives, alright, is that we have to end racism. We have to put an end to racism. Racism's wrong and evil, and it has to stop. It has to be destroyed, attacked, harmed, etc. So, in that same understanding that we start off with, 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, so if we have these ideas, they're mainstream, so they're taught in school, they're on the news, they're written into the laws in Parliament, in our governments. It's in the education and in training for police officers and things like this. People uphold the law and stuff, alright? So, these concepts, these ideas, are a part of the narrative in which we live, in which the world runs and works and operates. Okay? We've all been raised with these fundamental ideas. Again, one of these ideas, a meme pathogen, is all white people are racist. And another one of these meme pathogens is we must destroy racism. So 1 + 1 = 2. What does that equal? That equals we must destroy all white people. Whenever anybody says anything in regards to, oh, we have to put an end to racism, we have to stop racism, racism is bad. 1 + 1 = 2, that equals we have to destroy all white people. And that is a perfect example of the anti-white narrative. We have this meme pathogen on one level. Okay, there's something wrong with white people. We have to apologize to non-whites because we're white and they're non-white. Alright? Then you break that down a bit further. Why? What's the meme pathogen inside of that meme pathogen that makes that valid or true in the anti-white narrative? And that is that all white people are racist. What's the meme pathogen? What's the foundational idea within that meme pathogen? Alright? You break that down, it's just racism, racist. Just that concept by itself. Racism, racist. So that's the foundational, key meme pathogen which the rest of the meme pathogens are built upon. Okay? So first they have the meme pathogen, just racism. Then you build onto it, add to it, all white people are racist. It brings along with it everything associated with that first original meme pathogen, just racism. So it's evil, it's bad, you have to stand against it, you have to destroy it. If you don't, you're a monster, etc. And then it's added on to white people as a whole. as a collective. All white people are racist. So what does that mean? That means white people are evil, we have to be destroyed, it's bad. If you don't stand against the well-being of white people, there's something wrong with you. Okay? We have to put an end to racism. That means we have to put an end to white people. So, that's a perfect example there, simple example of what a meme pathogen is, alright? We won't worry about going into meme curatives yet in this video, but we'll just mention briefly here before we finish up how you can learn to actually become aware yourself, right? You don't need me to tell you what is and isn't a meme pathogen, what is and isn't anti-white. You are a human being, you have a brain, you can figure it out for yourself, okay? And this is how you can figure it out for yourself. If any idea in combination with any other idea, so again, 1 + 1 = 2. If any idea in combination with any other idea equals anything negative or detrimental towards any white person, it's anti-white. It comes from a meme pathogen in the anti-white narrative. There you go. So if you follow that basic simple principle, again, what is it? You look at the consequence. What does it mean? If we accept that idea as true, what is the consequence? What is the logical conclusion of that idea? And if that conclusion is harmful in any way to any white person, reject it because it's anti-white and it comes from an anti-white meme pathogen. 1 + 1 = 2. So if the answer, the conclusion, is anything negative about white people, fuck it off, it's anti-white trash. You look at the reasoning and the excuses made to come to that conclusion, which is negative about white people. You look into those excuses and you will see that they are meme pathogens. They're just excuses, premises made up in order to try to justify the harm of innocent members of Western kind. So that is how you can see what is a meme pathogen, what is anti-white, and is simply just being spouted and promoted in order to promote white erasure and the harm of innocent white people. Again, if the conclusion is anything negative about white people at all, like, oh, we need to say sorry because white people did bad to non-whites in the past. No, fuck it off, throw it in the bin. We're not saying sorry about nothing. Fuck off, you anti-white scum. Don't you dare attack my race and try to talk down my race, say there's something wrong with my people, and then go around and brainwash children to hate themselves because of the race they were born into. We ain't saying sorry for nothing. Fuck off, you anti-white. That's how you answer that type of thing. In our next video tomorrow, we'll go into meme curatives. Okay? So that's, again, meme pathogens. The negative ideas, the harmful ideas can come from anti-white ideas, which are like 1 + 1. So you have one anti-white idea, another anti-white idea, you add them together, it equals the anti-white conclusion. Something negative about white people. That's a meme pathogen. That's how the anti-white narrative is constructed. That's how harm against white people is justified. They use those excuses. Like, oh, well, you're a racist, so it's okay to hurt you. Our next video tomorrow, we'll go into the meme curatives, the actual ideas which counteract and put to bed these ideas in order for you to hold on to those, because, again, we're all raised from birth, we're all conditioned and brainwashed and abused from birth to hold these negative ideas and false ideas about white people, and therefore ourselves, if we are white, to hate ourselves for being born white. So to be a healthy person, if you are white, you actually have to have what's called meme curatives, which you consciously put into your mind to replace those meme pathogens you've been brainwashed with since childhood, which make you hate yourself for being white. And I don't care if you think you don't, you do. Because you've been raised from birth to hate yourself for being white. We all have. So if you haven't actually consciously started to work with meme curatives to heal those meme pathogens, well then they're still in you. That's what creates the foundation of your psyche. That's what creates the perception of your reality. And that's why so many white people fall into addiction. There's so much problem with relationships. There's no stability, but no balance between females and males, how they used to be in traditional relationships. All of these problems and things you see in a white person's life all come down to they subconsciously hate themselves, so they're sabotaging their own life because they have been raised from birth to see themselves as inherently evil, a monster, because they're white. And racism is bad. So again, I don't care what you say or what you think, if you haven't actually started to work to heal yourself, to go free of the white guilt, this trauma from the molestation, the abuse that we've all suffered for being white, then you are still suffering it. You are sabotaging yourself. You're not tapping into your full potential. You're not being the man or woman you could be. Alright? Why? Because there's still a part of yourself inside of yourself that hates yourself because you're white. Because evil anti-white bastards have taught you for your entire life that you have to hate yourself because you're white. And so now that you've taken that on, even subconsciously, even if you're unaware of it yourself, and that's why you have problems in your life. If you're a white person, that's why your parents have problems in their life. That's why your parents struggle with addiction and alcoholism, because they were abused their entire lives for being white as well. And they have not healed themselves. They have not started to learn to heal from that psychological, that racial abuse for being white. So all of your white parents out there are suffering addiction, alcoholism, because of anti-whiteism. And now is your opportunity to heal yourself from this racial attack on our people. So again, tomorrow we'll look into those curatives, those meme curatives, which can actually start to counteract, turn around those negative anti-white perceptions, meme pathogens, okay? Those perceptions that you hold, hating yourself because you're white. We flip that around, you will love yourself because you're white. Wanting to say sorry because you've done this and that, because our ancestors did this and that. No, flip that around. You'll say thank you to your ancestors for what they've given to the non-white people. Because the white race has given more and done more good than any race that has ever existed. So we're going to flip it around. And you're going to learn to love yourself for being white. One of the most beautiful races that has ever existed. The most compassionate, caring race that looks after the animals, the environment, other races of people, like no other race ever has in all of human history. So we're going to flip it on its head, and you're going to learn to love yourself for being white, because it's fucking awesome. And you should be extremely proud of being a white person, if you are. Extremely proud. You should be honored for that privilege to be a white person. Not that we have white privilege, okay? But that you should feel privilege. That's another meme pathogen, white privilege. In the real world, there's actually black privilege. There's no white privilege. But we're taught that we have white privilege so that we feel bad, again, to hate ourselves because we're white. Another example. So anyway, next video tomorrow, we'll look into the cures, ways that we can start to feel positive and appreciate our ancestors, our race, our culture, our ethnicity, etc. Our ways, traditions. So, take it easy. Catch us next time.